Hi all and welcome to another round of tips for Green Hell. The following tips are for everyone who is already a little bit familiar with the game and for anyone who wants to explore beyond the story mode. Now, should you still look for help with getting started, then make sure to check out our beginner guide and tips first and come back later for more. Before we begin, some of our tips won't be spoiler free as they cover later unlocks, locations or game mechanics you might not yet be familiar with. Now let's go! Something we have seen several players do is trashing the metal cans you get when eating canned food. If that's you, stop. Empty metal cans can be smelted into melted iron ore at your mud forge. They are much lighter than iron ore you can mine and therefore easier to carry. In addition to canned food, you can also find empty cans around abandoned points of interest, so make sure to pick them up and recycle them. Okay, we have to admit that we didn't figure this one out for a very long time. If you hold shift after drawing your bow and while aiming, you can actually steady your aim, at least for as long as you have energy, a true game changer. When playing in story mode, you can find a wall calendar at some points of interest like the drug facility or fishing dock. Interacting with the calendar lets you save the game, so you don't have to build a shelter to do so. Whether it's for increased safety or because you always dreamed of it, living in a treehouse can be awesome, but you also have more limited space and because of it, probably still build bigger structures at the base of the tree. To move decorations and furniture from a workbench on the ground up into your treehouse, you can use a climbing rope while moving the object. However, a select few items, like for example the torch holder, require you to rather use an elevator instead, as you will otherwise have trouble to place the item once up in your treehouse. Oh, and should you not see the option to climb or operate the elevator, make sure that you pick up the item while having a tool or weapon equipped. If you don't have anything equipped, you might sometimes encounter a bug that prevents you from interacting with the climbing rope or elevator. If you're playing in the Spirits of Amazonia mode, then keep looking up higher in the trees as you might sometimes find a pack of food rations dangling on a rope. Additionally, food rations can also be found buried inside dirt mounds which you can find in caves. And lastly, whenever you help a tribesman, you will find a food ration in the bowl next to the elder in their village. In addition to soups that won't spoil nor burn when left on a fireplace, you can also build up some food storage in your base with the help of a dryer. While dried meat will spoil, it doesn't as long as you leave it on the drying rack. Meaning you can keep dried meat forever in your base. Just make sure to eat it directly from the dryer and don't pick it up, or it will spoil immediately if its timer has expired. The same rule applies to the smoker and any food left on inactive fireplaces. Ever wondered why you sometimes can't get a fire to start when using your hand drill? Starting a fire requires energy and not having enough make you fail.
Bitch! Fuck.
Sleep to recover or eat food that restores energy. The blue mushrooms found in the very large trees are an easy fix as well. Also, the best fire starting tool that requires the least energy is the firebow. You can craft it with one bow, one small stone, one small stick and a plank. But there is a catch, it weighs a lot more than any inferior version. Attempting to cut down a spike tree can be very painful for you. If you hit the tree, you will get a venom wound, and every hit will give you another stack of venom. There's no tool that lets you cut down spike trees safely. However, there's one thing that will protect you, and that's wearing armor. If you thought gathering resources like logs or banana leaves was a peaceful affair, think again. There's a chance for centipedes to hide on larger items that are laying on the ground. The first few times we encountered these beauties, we didn't even know what hit us and ended up with a nasty venom wound. To avoid this, listen for a distinct scratching sound and drop anything you carry immediately by pressing Q. This will also drop the centipede and make it easy to kill it. We've covered this already in some of our other videos, but it's easily overlooked and we learned it relatively late as well. Being dirty? No, not what you think. Being covered in dirt can cause health issues in the jungle. If you see a mud icon above your health bar, make sure to wash yourself in a river, pond, shower, or let the rain wash off the dirt. Eating perfectly fine food with dirty hands can cause parasites, and if you have a wound, you're very likely to get an infection. Did you know that a water collector that's made of banana leaves can collect fresh water even if it doesn't rain? That's right. While it won't fill your containers as fast, it can create clean drinking water even during droughts. And it still works when placed under leaf or mud roofs. Now, while you won't need it as long as you live near water that you can cook or filter yourself, it's a nice backup during dry seasons nonetheless. The blueprint for the water collector can be found at the drug facility in story mode and at the stranded boat in the Spirit of Amazonia mode. Are you patiently watching your trap, waiting for a capybara to finally get caught? Don't. As long as you look at the trap, you won't catch anything. Animals only get trapped when you are turned away or out of sight. Raising animals in Green Hell is a high maintenance job. You need to make sure that their food and water troughs are constantly refilled, which can be tedious during dry seasons and if you don't have a steady source of food. One tip is to feed small leaf piles to plant-eating animals. 10 of those will fill one feeding trough, and this allows you to keep more valuable fruits for yourself. You also need to keep the animal pen clean. If you don't clear out the animal droppings on a regular basis, your animals can get sick and will die. By the way, animal droppings can be used as fertilizer for your plants or fuel for your fires. Another challenge is to avoid overcrowding. In our experience, already having more than 2 animals per pen can cause issues and deaths. And lastly, don't leave your animals alone for too long. If you stay away from your base for more than 2 in-game days, you'll risk finding your pens empty on your return, and that is with having all their troughs filled up before leaving. This tip is mostly for anyone who uses their kiln or mud forge on a regular basis and has built them out in the open. While fire usually extinguishes when it rains, you can still light your kiln or forge if you have a lit torch in your inventory and equip it for the very brief moment it takes to ignite them. If you are quick, the torch stays lit and it can be unequipped before getting extinguished. If you don't have better bandages on you that prevent infections, then have ants stitch up your lacerations. Just keep in mind that it will temporarily reduce your sanity. The good thing is that ants are tiny and don't take up much space in your inventory, so you can always have a few with you. The safest way to collect ants is to wear armor, as this will prevent you from getting a rash. Don't forget that you can build a sled to assist you with transporting more items that usually only can be carried by hand and not in your backpack, like logs, long sticks, bamboo or large stones. The sled blueprint is listed under the storage tab in your notebook, and if you're planning to build a bigger base, palisades or many planters, it can be extremely helpful for gathering larger quantities of those resources. And that's it for another round of tips for Green Hell. We hope you found at least some of them helpful. As always, if you'd like to see more content and want to support us, please consider giving us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe or become a member of our channel.